Your life is your life. Don't let it be clubbed into dank submission. You can't beat death, but you can beat death in life. And the more often you learn to do it, the more light there will be. There are ways out. There is a light somewhere. If you're going to try, go all the way. Otherwise, don't even start. If you're going to try, go all the way. This could mean losing girlfriends, wives, relatives, jobs, and maybe your mind. Go all the way. It could mean not eating for 3 or 4 days. It could mean freezing on a park bench. It could mean jail. It could mean derision, mockery, isolation. Isolation is the gift. All the others are a test of your endurance, of how much you really want to do it. And you'll do it, despite rejection and the worst odds. And it will be better than anything else you can imagine. If you're going to try, go all the way. There is no other feeling like that. You will be alone with the gods, and the nights will flame with fire. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. All the way. All the way. You will ride life straight to perfect laughter. It's the only good fight there is. Your life is your life. Don't let it be clubbed into dank submission. Beyond the watch, there are ways out. There is a light somewhere. It may not be much light, but it beats the darkness. Beyond the watch, the gods will offer you chances. Know them. Take them. You can't beat death, but you can beat death in life, sometimes. And the more often you learn to do it, the more light there will be. Your life is your life. Know it while you have it. You are marvelous. The gods wait to delight in you. If you're going to try, go all the way. Otherwise, don't even start. If you're going to try, go all the way. This could mean losing girlfriends, wives, relatives, jobs, and maybe your mind. Go all the way. It could mean not eating for 3 or 4 days. It could mean freezing on a park bench. It could mean jail. It could mean derision, mockery, isolation. Isolation is the gift. All the others are a test of your endurance, of how much you really want to do it. And you'll do it, despite rejection and the worst odds. And it will be better than anything else you can imagine. If you're going to try, go all the way. There is no other feeling like that. You will be alone with the gods, and the nights will flame with fire. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. All the way. All the way. You will ride life straight to perfect laughter. It's the only good fight there is.
I'm trying to get to the fucking theater mode, and I can't figure it out, dude. We're technically live, just so you know. But how do I get to theater mode?
Oh, it's my son. What's up, Bubbas?
See, like, what is all this? I don't care about any of that. I don't care about this. I don't care.
What's up, big boy? I miss you.
I don't need any of this shit. You know how I have my two screens?
Yeah.
I can fade scenes, pause in and out, yada yada. That's what I'm looking for. Whatever.
So, Bubba, the show's actually going to start in like...
It's already live.
Oh, I guess it's live,
We're
but
live.
we're having some technical difficulties. And we have our engineer on working on it right now. That's our host slash technical engineer.
All right, I got the chat here. We're good.
Looks like we're good. So I miss you, Bubba. How about Ezekiel Elliott? What's going on with that dude? I didn't see the video, but I heard it was pretty bad.
Rob's texting me.
Rob is.
Yeah. Shout out to the viewers. Thank you for tuning in. I know it's been a while since Lost in the Sauce has been live. Good to be back. I'm getting notifications right now. That's going to come through in the stream.
Oh, he's a flopper.
That's friggin' rad. I turn these off. I don't know. Clear all notifications. I don't know how to turn them off, so I'm sure we'll get plenty of those. It'll be nice. I kind of want to go hat forward, but it like hits the. If I go hat back, it hits the chair. You know what I mean? Hitting the chair lifestyle. Bubba's is on stream.
He said guy flopped worse than Harden.
Who's that?
Ezekiel Elliott, the running back for the Cowboys. I guess there was a video of him. I didn't see it, so I don't know, but supposedly lost in the sauce and just got in a fight or something. And I guess my son said he saw it. He said the guy flopped worse than Harden. Worse than James Harden.
It was like a viral video or something?
Yeah.
Out of like a
it was on
nightclub?
TMZ or something.
TMZ! Shout out to TMZ. Shout out to No Hope On.
No Hope On. Get 10% if you mention the Lost in the Sauce show at No Hope On.
No Hope On. Shout out to Bill getting an Xbox.
Woohoo! And got me and my son's favorite game ever, Kingdom Hearts 3.
Kingdom Hearts 3 grind has commenced.
It's so great. And then I got my boy's game over here.
Blackout. You don't even know the name of it.
Don't
Call of
even
Duty
know. Black Ops 4.
Did you get the golf game yet?
No. I haven't even turned it on since I've been back.
Let's turn it on. You'll probably be asleep by the time you get home, actually.
Yeah, I'll be done.
So shout out to, does it go by Anthony or Tony?
Anthony.
Anthony?
Mm.
Anthony, you prefer Anthony or Tony? You can tell me the truth. Don't worry about your dad. It's full of shit. Pawn Star CA.
Pawn
That's
Star
you, right?
CA.
Yeah, Pawn Star
yeah.
CA. So what we're doing right now for people who are tuned in is we're just waiting for everyone to sort of settle in. If you read the pre-stream screen, grab your popcorn, buckle up. For everyone out there who's sharing the stream or preparing their questions for both Bill and I. Chris is out of the studio tonight, but I love to shout out to Chris. Hopefully he'll tune in here at some point. But it has been almost a month since we did a show, so a lot has happened. We'll discuss all of that. And I think this is the first week we have essentially transitioned the show from Facebook to YouTube sort of as a permanent fixture. I think all along we kind of had that in mind, that the show would end up on YouTube sort of as its home base. But I don't currently have a YouTube following, so building up one social media outlet versus another and sort of understanding that whole game is actually kind of a fun new thing. Like, because I've never been... I mean, I understand how to navigate Facebook, but as far as promotion and building like an audience and that whole thing is new to me. So it's kind of cool. I mean, it sucks at first, right?
Yeah.
What do we got? Two viewers, but that's fine.
Yeah, that's one thing I don't know is I don't know how many. It doesn't show us how many viewers
Right
we
here it
actually
says
have.
5, but I think I'm like 2 of them, so I don't really know. But if you are, if you're tuned in, and you have any questions over the stuff that we go over, we're gonna get a little bit into what's been going on since we last had a show. Bill's got some updates as well as far as some recovery stuff. We're gonna get into some manifest lifestyle stuff, which will be fun. We'll touch on the politics because it's kind of current events.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones, we'll get into that a little bit.
It's going to be kind of like a free flow show
Your son
today.
says it doesn't matter to him one bit.
I just call him Bubba.
Yeah, we're also just getting used to this new software, so that's been part of the reason we were down the last 2 weeks. Is the software that we were previously using to broadcast the show no longer started working. I spent like 6 hours trying to fix it, didn't work, so now we're on a new software and learning the new program. I mean, it's just it's very similar to the old program. It's not a huge leap, but it is new as far as just how to get things to do what you could do in the old program in the new program. It's just a new system. So we're sort of working the kinks out with that, but not a huge deal. It is good to be back. We couldn't get cameras last week. We couldn't get audio. It was a freaking mess. But I think we figured it out. I mean, we are technically live, which is nice. The feed looks like it's coming in. I can read the chat. Cameras are working. Green screens are working. Mics are working. Are the mics... You know what would be a good question for people who are watching? If the mic volume is good. Is the volume good?
Yeah, how's the volume?
Too low, too loud? I guess it's sort of a bit of a test run tonight.
I'm on Chris's mic, and Chris just talks so much louder than I do.
Well,
so I
your
don't want to
mic
be
setting,
under.
I can't see it because the coffee mug is blocking it, but you should be set pretty well. What do you guys think of the intro? I've got mixed reviews from our intro, our motivational Chris Bukowski motivational speech
I
intro.
love that one.
I love it. It gets me pumped up. Some people don't like it.
Really?
My mom's like, I don't like it.
I love
It's like,
that.
I like the dubstep. What was the? It's raindrops and roses.
Yeah, that's actually cool too. I like that too.
Kind
Though.
of sick, right? It's like non-copyright music you can play. But she likes that one.
He says it's good. The CA sounds a little echo.
The CA.
I don't know what that means.
It's probably me. He'll shut CA.
Echo. Is it my mic or his mic, or just all around?
Do you have your volume
Off.
playing?
Yeah, it's off.
because you can create an echo that way.
Yeah, no, it's all the way.
It
down.
might just be because we have the door open, and I didn't put a lot of the filters on the microphones that we normally have. As far as like sound gates and compressors and stuff, I can do all that later, but that's fine.
Not dad is echoing now. Well,
I guess your dad.
it says not dad echoing. So
I'd love to get into that a little bit.
Maybe that means
The
you.
kids thing.
Oh,
Get
he's.
into that a little bit.
I don't know how he turned up. He ended up turning out great.
Yeah, what happened?
I don't know. He didn't want to be like me.
That's good.
That's what he said.
You're good now. Though. Back
Yeah.
then, you were a shit show. Now you're on
He
board.
said, "I saw what you went through, and I didn't
Now
want to
you're
go
on
through it."
board. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get it started, jump into the show. But for those of you who are new to the Lost in the Sauce show, we usually do a quick. I think it's gotten down to like 15 seconds at this point. of just mindfulness meditation where we just take a second to get centered before we kick off the show. If you'd like to join us at home, you're more than welcome to go ahead and participate. But we're just going to go ahead, do a little quick breathing exercise, call it 15 seconds because we're getting that short with it. And then we'll go ahead, count it down, and start the show. And there it is. That is a mindfulness exercise. Before we even hop into it, like, talk about like a great thing to incorporate in your life to manage stress, dude. A little breath work.
Oh yeah.
Man, I talk about it so much, but breath work and like just different forms of meditation. So like even playing golf with Bill on Thursday can be considered something that's very meditative and very grounding and like a very positive, activity. You don't necessarily have to have your feet crossed and, drums chanting. I don't know if the camera can pick me up doing this, but with the bells and the whistles and like that. With the fingers crossed and all that, and like the very traditional, you would think, oh, meditation, this seems boring, or I can't do it, or whatever, my mind's too busy. But just simply taking a second to close your eyes, take some deep breaths, that's meditation. Going surfing, going skiing, just sort of staying in the present moment. All that stuff is so important, and we definitely advocate that as far as your self-care, what that looks like. But it's been a huge help for me. Not just for recovery stuff, but just life, dealing with family, dealing with friends, girlfriends, stress at work, all of it. I just come back to that same place every time. I just get centered around my breath. And then for whatever reason, the problems don't go away, right? They're not solved because I did some breath exercise. But the person who's approaching the solutions to these problems is calm, cool, collected. And I'm going to be coming from a place of logic and reasoning as opposed to just reactionary impulsivity, which is where I can sort of get myself into trouble. But that's just a little tidbit. If you already do it, you can probably understand exactly what I'm talking about. But if you're not doing it, just as a suggestion.
Golf, surfing.
Yeah, any of that. Exactly. It doesn't necessarily need to even be a breath exercise.
Just when you're just zoning on one thing and staying in that moment is so important.
Absolutely. So for those of you who've seen the Lost in the Sauce show before, we've been gone for about a month. I know it's been a while. I had some family stuff I was dealing with. We had some technical issues stuff we were dealing with.
I had family stuff.
Yeah, you had some family stuff last week. So it's been a struggle to get on air and to do a live show. But we're back. We are sort of feeling out this new program, but we got tons of updates. I know Bill, it's been almost a month. Anything huge? I know what it is, but anything you want to share about what's been going on the last month?
Yeah, my brother was diagnosed with cancer, and this was, I guess, about 5 months ago now. And he didn't tell anybody. He kept it to himself because he didn't want anybody to stress out and all that stuff, which I don't agree with, but I know why people do it. So went up to visit him. He finished his chemo and everything looks good. And he's my older brother, 10 years older than me. He was more like a father figure than anybody else in my life, I'd say. So got to hang out with him for 4 days, and my nieces, who I haven't seen in 10 years because they moved up to Boston. And it was good. It was literally just hanging out and talking.
Just getting back to square one.
Yeah. Just what's important. Families. I have a small family. There's like a total of 7 of us in my family. And so we don't talk as much as we would like. And what we were talking about earlier is why this comes up. You don't want it to be these occasions. I wish it would be just, hey, I'm going to come visit you. Mm-hmm. But it tends to always be around something either really good or really bad.
Yeah,
like a wedding or a funeral.
Yeah, absolutely. The geography plays a part in it too, right?
Oh, for sure.
Like for me, it's driving to Orange County. It's not flying to Massachusetts, so it's a little bit more accessible.
Yeah, I'd just like to make more time for it, but life gets in the way. And one thing about my family is we all know that. Yeah. So we're pretty cool about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good. He's finds out June 2nd, I think he said, to find out if there are any lingering effects of what he went through. And so yeah, it hit home, close. It's scary. That's my big brother. Mm-hmm. There's very very few people in my life that really, and this might sound, a lot of people might get hurt by this, but there's very few people that will actually affect me if something bad happened to them.
Mm-hmm.
I might be upset or a little bit, but my brother's one of them that would tear me apart. So I'm glad he's doing well.
So right now it's good news.
Great news.
And, you know, I mean, since we're on the subject, I'm the youngest of four. It's all boys. And my oldest brother lives on the other side of the country. He lives in Virginia. And I'd like to start making more time for family like that. And even my brothers and extended family, aunts and uncles who live in Orange County, I still don't make enough time.
Yeah.
And there's not really much of an excuse there. Maybe I feel it's a little awkward or forced, or I'm uncomfortable sort of putting myself out there. But there's so many more ways to do it. I mean, now we have FaceTime. You have all these different avenues. So, yeah, they may be in Boston or he may be in Virginia in my case. But there are ways to sort of keep building and build relationships. I got nieces and nephews.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they know my name.
Yeah.
Because I've only met them a handful of times. And my other brothers, it's Uncle Nick, it's Uncle Paul, it's this and that. And it's like, this is your Uncle Ryan who you've met like twice, you know. He was in rehab 6 years ago, you know, and it's different. And I think a lot of it too is just fear, kind of like being like, hey, you know, let's build this life. It's a little awkward.
Especially you're the wild child, and so am I.
Yeah. Definitely.
So it's like, oh, there's crazy Uncle Bill. I don't want to be known as that.
I would love to be a crazy Uncle Bill.
But I'm a not in a
like,
good crazy, you know what I mean?
Like,
it's not like, oh, here's Uncle Bill, he's buying me a new car because he's...
I want to be the cool uncle, of course. But just by the way of chance, really, my life has been steered in this sort of parental leadership, coaching, you know what I mean? I'm looked to in a lot of areas of my life for guidance, specifically. So I think I could be an asset to my family in that way, to their kids, and to offer perspective on like a different way of growing up, like different experience and things that have happened. And like I could see myself, you know, doing a good job as like helping. I'm not going to raise anyone's kids for them.
Yeah.
But if, God forbid, you know, little Bobby or Joey wants to be like, hey, Uncle Ryan, what was it like doing this? Or I'm dealing with this at school. Do you have any ideas or maybe some thoughts? Absolutely I do.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, hopefully I'll get that opportunity. I know that it's not slowing down. Everyone's having kids. Like it's freaking going on style. I got cousins who are having kids. My brothers are all having kids. My brother who we're closest in age is getting married this year. I think this year sometime.
Wait, who's getting married?
Nick.
Oh,
You
okay.
met Nick, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm going to have plenty of opportunities to be able to mentor and to be a part of my nieces and nephews' lives. And, I mean, I look forward to it because I think I would be good at it. But my part is I have to really put some initiative in.
Yeah.
You know, I have to be present. And I just wish I was more. I don't even know how we got on that topic, but I'm glad that it came up. I know besides that, we've had a ton of shit go down. I had some family stuff. My mom was doing some health stuff, so I was with her. I spent a whole week down there with her. And as much as I wanted to, like, get into that sort of static, what are we going to do? You know, health, death, life, what's going on? I really wanted to go down there and to be for her and to, like, enjoy that time together instead of being, like, worrying together and, like, sad. It was more like, wow, like, it ended up being good news. Better news than we thought. It's not great news, but it's better than we thought it was going to be. So this whole, you know, the finality of it, like, you know, is this person going to be dead?
Yeah.
Right? Like those questions. We got good answers to those questions, which was great. So being able to just spend time together, I think was really cool.
Yeah.
Whether it's, you know, smoking cigarettes, shooting the shit, talking about what I got going with Manifest or how's, you know, my relationship with my girlfriend. What are we going to do about her cats? She got the new cats and just really kind of not getting into all the deep, dark, you know.
Just enjoying each other.
Yeah, and just hanging out. So that was really fun. Got to play some golf with my brother Nick.
Ooh.
Nick, if you're watching, your swing needs a little work. He's got the ability, but his swing needs a little work. I think he'd agree with me. He's a strong kid, man. You guys are similar build. I think he's probably 6'3", I think 220.
He's a pretty big boy.
Yeah, he's a big boy. But D1 college athlete. I mean, he's got it in him. He just needs to put in a little bit of time, which is fine. But it was fun.
Where'd
It
you
was
guys
fun.
play?
We just went to the driving range.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just down there, local course off the mats. But that was good. As far as me, man, I've had a whirlwind of ups and downs. It has been a trying period of time for me. Just with work has been really stressful. And for me, the problem-solving aspect of stress is really enjoyable. So I kind of look for that, oh, right, this is going to be a great opportunity. And this sounds like bullshit. Guys, this is real. Like, when I have problems today, not every problem, because some of them I'm like, oh, I feel bad for myself and I want to be sad. But, when I have problems, I'll be angry, I'll be upset, I'll be sad, but for a very short period of time. A manageable period of time, I should say. And then I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to get to that solution, or this is creating an opportunity over here. And, this is really how my brain thinks. As opposed to getting down on myself, damn it, did I make the right decision, or this isn't gonna work out, oh fuck, and the depression will set in, and all of that stuff. It's weird how the brain has sort of been rewired. So I didn't solve all the problems, but I did get some solutions to some of my problems, and that was really big. It just sort of reinvigorated, put a little wind in my sails, right?
Yeah.
Got some wins under my belt, and okay, the bigger picture there's still things that we need to pay attention to. But it made those next steps more manageable, right?
Yeah,
to get a couple wins on the way in, which is great. So that was a huge piece of it. Other than that, man, as far as what's been going on out there, we had a ton of shit. Game of Thrones just ended. We got John Wick 3 came out. The Avengers. I don't know if we want to hit anybody with spoilers or anything like that. I could probably speak about it in such a way that
I don't think I
don't
can
give away everything, but if you're a comic book fan and Avengers and all that stuff, Endgame is worth seeing. I definitely think that they did a good job. It's a little long, but it's definitely worth seeing. John Wick 3 I thought was good and entertaining, but I still believe that John Wick 1 is probably my favorite. It's got, I think, John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum, whatever they're calling it. That's exactly what they're calling it.
Was Holly Berry in that one?
She was.
Okay.
Yeah, she's probably 10 minute little.
I saw a tidbit of her training for it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And she's got dogs. I don't know if you saw any of that.
No.
I don't want to get into the whole thing, but there's a really cool sequence with these military trained dogs. And Holly Berry's the one who has the dogs, and they're doing all these commands and fighting with them, with her and John, which is pretty cool. I was actually having dreams about John Wick's training with the Navy SEALs, which is really weird. But it is worth seeing. I think it got, when I first checked it, it was a 95 on Rotten Tomatoes. Now I want to say it's an 89. So it's a good flick. It's definitely entertaining. I still like John Wick 1 the best, and I will say they're opening it up for a fourth. So hopefully we'll get a fourth. Rick and Morty's coming back. I know you don't give a shit, but I'm a Rick and Morty super fan. November 2019, that will be back. But most importantly, Bill, Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is over.
Yeah.
Before we get into the episode and how it ended, how do you feel about something like Game of Thrones being officially over?
Honestly, you know what I did today? I canceled my cable.
You canceled your cable?
I canceled my cable.
It's done.
That's the only reason really why I kept cable.
Well, you can do HBO now. Because you have HBO Go. So if you're a cable subscriber, you have the mobile app, HBO Go. But now you can just buy HBO Now, like a Netflix, from HBO directly without the cable.
I thought you had to have the cable system to get that. Oh.
Yeah, it used to be like that. I think 2 years ago, or maybe almost 3 years ago now, they added their own subscription service where you don't need a cable provider to get HBO.
Well, that's another option now.
Yeah.
Literally, I canceled it today. I was like, there's no need for me to have TV anymore.
Yeah. HBO Now. I don't know what the cost is. I'm guessing it's probably similar to Netflix. $10 a month.
But
like that.
You know what? A lot of people didn't like the ending.
What did you think of it?
Honestly, there's no right way I think they could have done it at all. I liked it. I enjoyed it. Could I wish there was more? Yeah, of course. I wish it didn't end. I wish it would keep on going on for another 8 seasons.
I kind of want to fucking talk about this with spoilers. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it by now, you're not a true fan.
Yeah, spoiler alert right now. We're going to get into some details. If you have not seen Game of Thrones or plan on watching it and you don't want to hear the ending of the entire 10-year saga, we're going to share it with you right now. So this will be a time to, mute your... I'll do, a wave when we come back from spoilers on Game of Thrones. But in my opinion, shout out to No Cap Spacey. That's my boy Taylor for tuning in. he says he's got to make more time for family too, man. We all do, dude, right? I mean, I could be better in so many areas of my life, but these are goals, right? And collectively we'll do better. But as far as Game of Thrones, it being over, I think that cinematically, when you're telling such a huge story, the arguably the biggest, most important part of the story is the ending.
Yeah.
Right? It has to end. I would love for it to go on for season after season after season, but we might get sort of numb to the way they're telling the story. It would sort of take something away from what Game of Thrones did, and I thought what I think is very special. Could the ending have been better? I think they could have improved upon it. I love Bran being the choice for the king at the end. I think that was great. I didn't see that coming
at all.
I didn't think he was even eligible because he's the three-eyed raven. I thought he was sort of doing that.
Yeah.
I thought Tyrion was going to get it for a second.
I thought, I thought he was going to take her out.
Remember, he's talking about the story. He's like, who's got the greatest story? I mean, who would have a better story than a little person, or he refers to himself as the imp in the show, becoming the king? And he would make a great king.
Yeah.
But he's essentially is king by being the hand of the king. I mean, he's the number one go-to right-hand man, decision maker in the 6 kingdoms now. Sansa sort of giving herself her own crown, I thought was fucking lame.
Yeah.
I didn't like Sansa towards the end of the show.
No.
And what she had to go through to get to where she's at, to this new empowered, strong figure in the North, I thought was a great story that was told. But her, like, at the end of the story, like, the person she'd become was someone who was a bit off-putting to me.
Yeah.
You know, she's kind of a shit stirrer. She's got Littlefinger's influence. She's kind of playing the game, and like, I get, it's a Game of Thrones. I fucking get it. You got to be a little shady to like get shit done. But I didn't like that. And this is probably going to be an unpopular opinion. I would have killed Jon Snow. But then you have Dany and Jon Snow both dead after what she did on the attack of the King's Landing and all the innocents and all that. I mean, she's got to go.
Yeah.
But to have a character like Jon Snow, the hero's quest, part of the hero's quest in classic storytelling is the sacrifice, the martyr, them giving themselves up for the greater good of the whole. So if I was writing the story, I would have killed him off. I would have had the dragon turn and kill him off. People would have freaked out. They would have flipped out. But to have such a bold, the biggest character, maybe besides Tyrion in the entire show, to just go back where he started from and kind of walk off into the distance was a little anticlimactic.
Yeah.
Climactic, in my opinion. But tell us what you guys think. If you guys have seen Game of Thrones, if you liked the ending. I don't think I've talked to one person who liked the ending. They're sort of split as far as, similar to the points I just made. But, man.
Well, the one thing I didn't like about all of it, where it turned out, was the last battle with whatever they're called, the ice people. What are they called?
The Nightwalkers.
The Nightwalkers, jeez. That I wish they should have. They wish they would have like maybe done 3 episodes of that instead of just one, just battle and it's over. Like it just seemed like it was built up for 7 seasons and then
for one battle.
Bye bye.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing. But I'm a Game of Thrones guy.
I was trying to figure out why they cut the season short, because it does feel a little condensed.
Yeah.
Not a little, a lot condensed. A lot of huge storylines ended in one episode. When in seasons prior, like entire storylines took seasons to develop and then to unfold and then to change. Like to have such a huge, all right, so now it's happening. All right, now it's over. And that felt rushed. My theory is that Game of Thrones started to get really expensive for them.
Oh, yeah.
It has the biggest budget of any TV show in history. You can Google that. I'm 100% certain that's correct, but correct me if I'm wrong. If there's another TV show, I'm not talking movies, I'm talking TV shows. But I want to say this season's budget was north of $150 million.
Yeah.
So for a network like HBO, they're not going into the poorhouse anytime soon. But to develop other intellectual property, other brands that don't cost as much, where the cast salaries aren't nearly as high, where the extras, the on-scene or on-site location shots in frickin' New Zealand and Scotland and all these different exotic locations. I mean, the show was starting to cost them a pretty penny. and I think their idea was to, like, 10 years is our run.
Yeah.
I probably would have stretched it out another 3 episodes, like maybe give season 7 an extra episode or 2, give this season an extra episode or 2, and sort of let those things play out, leave us on a cliffhanger during the zombies, like, oh, we're gonna die. I personally would have killed off more people in the zombies.
Oh yeah.
Every third party, unimportant main character was killed, and I was like, all right, so everyone we really care about is still alive. Like, kill main characters.
Yeah.
Like, no one's safe. That's what we love Game of Thrones for. And I didn't get enough of that. I wanted to be shocked. Like, after the Red Wedding, like, I was like, oh my god.
Oh.
Like, what? I was devastated. Like,
I was hoping I was dreaming. No joke. I literally
like,
woke up and I was like, this can't be real.
Yeah, this can't be real. Like, that's the way the show went. And I wish we would have gotten more shock value out of like what Game of Thrones, what they built their brand around, what they were known for, is that just like the suspense. Like when a main character was put into a situation where they could possibly die, we didn't know.
Yeah.
As an audience, but near the end, it was like, oh, they're gonna make it.
Well,
they have to.
You know that they never finished writing that. You know that, right?
Yeah, no, the books aren't even to where the show got. They were out on their own,
and you could tell the difference.
Yeah, and I wonder, for anyone out there who might have more information, I wonder how far George R.R. Martin got with the writing as far as being a part of the story, even though the books hadn't been written. How much influence he had on letting the stories be told on screen. Because he is an executive producer on the show. It's in the credits. I know that they spoke a couple of seasons back about him actually coming in and co-writing some of the episodes. Not every episode, but I think like 1 or 2 episodes a season. He's actually a part of the writing process. I think overall he's pretty pleased with what they did. But if it was up to him, I think he probably would have been a little bit more ruthless. Yeah. I might just read the books. Like, because I got through...
Is he finishing that?
A Song of Fire and Ice, the first book... I think it's like 600 or 700 pages long, and I got through 450 pages of it before watching the show at all.
and
it
was over.
It was already changing. I think season 2, it got, because the storyline's going, let's follow Sansa, let's follow Arya, let's follow Bran. That's how the book's told. Yeah. Each chapter is named by the individual, which is the focus of the chapter. So in the show, they're like getting off in these different directions and progressing their timelines where the book hadn't quite gotten that far. So like Bran being north of the wall and talking to the trees and becoming like that. That was so far beyond what the books had told as far as other people's storylines. But I don't know if the books are done yet. But when they are done, I might actually pick up a book and read. I'm not as well read as I'd like to be, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. That might be a surprise to some of the viewers, but not nearly as well read. I'm very good at reading on the internet and YouTube and conspiracies and alien documentaries.
Yes.
And mindfulness techniques. I'm your guy.
Mindfulness.
Yeah. So overall, what do you, as far as Game of Thrones holding up overall, 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, best show ever, top 5, what do you think?
Best show ever.
Your number 1?
Number 1.
It's my number 1 too. I really just can't figure, and I've Breaking Bad, Sons of Anarchy. You could even argue Seinfeld's on that list. I've given enough content, like the chance to be like, okay, this is the best ever. But I just don't see anything even close.
Yeah.
Westworld season 1 was really good. If you guys have seen Westworld on freaking HBO, a lot of HBO stuff, Deadwood is really good. See, The Wire.
There's different. Again, it's hard to say the best show ever. You got to break it up in categories because there's too many good shows.
But at the end of the day, there's got to be
the
GOAT.
That was the
GOT. It has to be. Greatest of all time. So enough of the Game of Thrones rant. Tell us what you guys thought of the ending. No Cap says it's trash. I'm not sure if your son's seen it yet.
Yeah, he just watched all of it within a month
and finished it. What'd you think? What did Anthony Brown think?
I don't know. We'll see.
That's kind of a lot of information to cram into 1 month.
Yeah, but it's worth it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I did it again.
Absolutely.
I rewatched them all.
So yeah, aside from Game of Thrones, there's a lot of crazy shit going on out there. Something important that in the Lost in the Sauce universe is important to us is Bill Brown is officially on his 30-day countdown to getting 1 year sober.
Yes, I am.
So I don't want to clap too loud into the microphone. So your sobriety day, I probably know better than you, is the 16th.
Yeah.
Right? of, what would that be, June?
June.
June 16th. So we're officially under 30 days. You're going to be a year sober. How do you feel? Do you feel different? You feel better? I'm sure you feel better.
Yeah, I feel great.
You've never got, I mean, or not, you've gotten a year in the past.
Yeah.
How does this measure up to the other years that you've gotten? What's different?
It's different. I have a family now. So when I got sober before, there was no family involved. So I just kind of did what I did. I just enjoyed myself still. I just went out and hung out with friends. And now it's different.
Is it better?
Yeah, it's better. It's better because literally I'm raising my son. That's huge. That's the most important thing.
It's obviously added motivation,
Yeah.
right? As much as we want to be like, oh, it's just for us. It's your life.
100%.
Pivotal pieces of your life.
100%.
Wife, kids, all that.
It's awesome. It's good. It's still rough right now, just as far as me trying to figure out what I want to do with
For your just future stuff.
future life.
Future tripping.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely future tripping. Just because I want to travel more. I want my son to grow up in a better area. I want him to go to a better school. So I'm future tripping, not even for me, more for my son. But no, being sober is boring right now. I talked to my older brother about it. He has 19 years.
Wow.
And
Shout out to Bill's older brother.
yeah, Joe. And it's boring right now, but it's a good boring. It's not a bad boring. It's not like basically I'm busy all day, every day. I don't have time to think about anything other than what's going to happen next.
It doesn't sound like boring is the right word. It sounds like,
What is it when you could just
It
keep
sounds
doing
like
the same
routine.
thing? Routine. There you
it's
go. That's
becoming a
much
little
better.
routine.
Yeah, but you know what? It has to be right now, and I'm cool with that. It's better than sitting in my garage smoking
with booby traps and
with
bells
booby traps,
and
and my
buzzers
wife doesn't catch me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, it is routine. That's a much better word. 6 hours a day. I mean, working 6 days a week, 11 hours a day is not fun. But you know what? I can pay my rent. I pay my bills. I can feel good about myself. And I get to do stuff like this. We get to take people out and try to teach them that it's, there's other stuff to do than get high.
Mm-hmm.
Take them golfing or on outings. It's a different type of life that I have to still get used to. I struggle because I'm like, I just want to go on vacations all the time. That's just not realistic. It's what everybody wants to do, but it's just not realistic. But no, I feel good. Physically, I feel great. Mentally, the cloud's gone. I like helping other people. Again, just routine right now.
Absolutely.
But I'm happy. Honestly, I can say I'm a pretty happy dude. I'm nothing's bringing me down. Not right now. Work, family, everything is manageable.
Do you have any idea what you want to do for your year? Anything special? You've been on all the fucking outings.
I've already
Fucking
done.
Bill, dude, has been on all the outings. We take people skydiving. We take them to race the exotic cars if they get a year. The company pays for it. We try to make it a pretty special experience. Now, when you get 2 years, hopefully you're inviting me to go skydiving and take me on the exotics. But for the year, we try to make it a big deal. But Bill has been fucking on all of these things already. We've already taken him. He's been skydiving. He's done a ride along in the drift car. You haven't actually raced any of the exotics just yet. At least with Manifest, you haven't.
No.
Anything that comes to mind that you want to do as far as something special?
Yeah, I want to go to Mexico and surf.
We can go to Mexico and surf. We might be able to swing it for my birthday.
Yeah,
But that's late August.
that's all I want to do. I want to have a surf vacation where literally all we do is surf.
Surf and golf.
Surf, golf, and eat.
That would be rad.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Take the wife, find a babysitter, and just have fun. Just enjoy ourselves, you know what I mean? It's been a long time since me and my wife have just enjoyed each other. And that would be nice.
Oh, yeah. Well, I wanted to say, I mean, I've told you a bunch, but I've worked with you a lot over this year. And to see where you've come from, you might not notice the change in yourself. But at least from a third-party perspective, I've seen you grow a crazy amount as far as being at peace with where your life's at, setting up goals for where you want your life to be, even having active discussions about that regularly, you know, staying motivated and staying in the middle of it. Obviously, the service piece is kicked up specifically in the last couple months. I've sort of put your name in the hat, and now you're starting to put your own name in the hat. I've been like, people come to me with questions like with marriage and kids and this and that.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is out of my pay grade. But you know who knows exactly what this guy's talking about is Bill. Bill knows all this stuff, and I think you've seen me sort of advocating, and now you're kind of putting yourself out there, you know, giving your phone number to people who are dealing with shit, and it's cool to see you be of service and to kind of like, it brings the whole recovery process full circle, right? Because what was given to you, you feel a certain level of joy to then pass that forward to the next guy, and not everybody gets it, but for the ones who do, like, to be a part of that experience is like really fun. It's just it's sort of beyond.
Oh, it's awesome.
Very special.
That's what I was talking to somebody about that the other day, that it's cool when I go to these meetings and people are asking me, like, I
What
still
would
don't
you
consider
do?
myself
An
the
expert.
person to ask about these things.
Absolutely.
But when it comes to family life and marriage and stuff like that, and these guys are having these problems, I didn't realize I had a lot to offer them.
Absolutely.
And yeah, that's a really cool feeling to be able to offer my 2 cents and them actually taking it, whether it works or not, but them wanting to hear my 2 cents.
And not being full of shit.
Yeah.
You're not faking it.
No,
No,
no.
this is really me. Like, yeah, I really did do that.
Yeah.
You know, and being proud of that and then sharing that experience. It's pretty cool. So I'm proud of you. I know Chris is proud of you. He was sort of your trudging brother. He
Yeah.
was kind of like a little bit ahead of you, and to see you sort of coming up the ranks, and then we got the J-Bone. I don't want to say his name kind of for privacy reasons, but we got the J-Bone coming in behind him, and to see sort of the group evolving is cool. Like, it's sad to see, you know, like Chris is building a really big life right now,
Yeah.
and that's his goals, and that's what he's wanting. His mindset, his determination to get to those financial goals, to get to his love and relationship stuff, and to get his life where he thinks it's where it should be. Like, that's part of the process too, and that includes, you know, him not making as many meetings, but if he's actively doing what he loves and building that life, like, that's part of it, you know.
Yeah.
We all don't just sit here on first base and things just, you know, you got a round second, you got a round third, and then eventually you're going to come back up to bat again, and it's part of the process. There's people who come, there's people who go, there's people who stick around, at least for the first couple years. Like, sticking around is so important. You don't got to stick with me. I mean, I'd love to have you, but if you're out there, like, find a group and fucking stick around, you know. Become accountable to some people, you know.
Yeah,
be
for
honest.
selfish reasons, I wish Chris was around more. But that's just for my own selfish reasons.
Absolutely.
But no,
But I'm proud that he's
yeah.
doing what he wants to do to get the life that he deserves.
Yeah, we
That's
still talk, and
fucking
he's
cool.
I mean, the problem with Chris is he just went at it so hardcore that it seems that now he's been gone a few weeks or a few months, you know, in and out. It seems like, wow, hope nothing's wrong, because he was like the hardest core person I've ever seen with how hard he went for his sobriety, as far as riding his bike for 6 months and just doing everything, whatever you told him, he was doing.
Oh, the J-Bone's watching.
Is he?
J-Bone, I don't want to put you out on blast, but yeah, J-Bone's in the chat. Shout out to J-Bone, man. You know what? We'll get into this a little bit. So there's some manifest lifestyle stuff that's been coming up. Aside from conversations I've had with Jay, some other the guys that I game with I was like, hey, yo, what do you want to hear us talk about? And it's festival season right now. So you just had Coachella, you just had Stagecoach, EDC I think just happened. There's there's always EDM festivals and electronic music festivals going on, smaller ones, but some larger venues have just happened. And I get asked this a lot, like, yo, how do you participate in that lifestyle and still A, have a good time, and B, stay sober? And I think it's not for everyone. If I had to build like the perfect sobriety program for someone who's into going to festivals, into, you know, live music, there's a right way and there's a wrong way to do it. I definitely wouldn't go unless you're ready to go, right? That's first and foremost. But just some guidelines I created for myself. I've been to some of the biggest raves in the world sober, but I'm only there for 3 hours. You know, it starts to get a little grimy, starts to get a little sticky and a little sweaty, and people start turning into vampires. Like, it's time for me to go. Like, it was my scene for the first 3 hours, and it, give or take, right, 30 minutes an hour, whatever. But then it becomes not my scene. Okay, this is not me anymore, right?
Who are you going with? Are you going with other sober friends, or
friends, whatever?
just a mesh of people who are getting?
I've been with sober
messed up
people.
too?
I've been with people who aren't sober. I've been to meetings at festivals, big, huge raves with AA meetings and NA meetings at them, you know, and rolled around, and some of them stayed sober and some of them didn't, you know. And I've brought in kids who were sober and left and fucking found them 4 days later out of their minds, you know. So it's not for everyone. I'll tell you that. And I definitely didn't go until I felt like I was ready to go. And for me, and how I sort of got down, right, when I was getting fucked up, like I was by myself. I wasn't in public. I wasn't the guy at the bar. I wasn't doing lines in the bathroom. I wasn't like out fucking living it up, you know, freaking baller status, like loaded. Like I was the guy at the house in the closet walking to the ATM to my bedroom. Like that was how I got loaded. So it's not triggering for me to be out enjoying my life. I'm more introverted anyway. So to be out and experiencing that type of stuff, it wasn't like, oh, this is where I used to do my thing. Like that wasn't me. But it is that way for some people. That was part of their story, is that like, oh, I used to go do this and do that and take acid or Molly or whatever the fuck. So I think each situation's a little bit individualized, but by all means, man, get out there, experience your life, and have a blast. But something we talked about that stood out to me today is that the person who comes into these situations of like, look, I got to get my shit together, whether it's you got to get sober or you just got to get your shit together, right? Maybe you lost a marriage or a girlfriend or a job or whatever, but you know, the shit's got to change, right? If we're at that point and we start to improve upon ourselves, we start to have a little bit more reflection and to have some self-growth, the important thing to notice is that the person who came in is no longer going to be the person in the middle on the way out. So if that guy who was going to 10 festivals a year is the same guy who's now got his shit together but still going to 10 festivals a year, I'm just using festivals as a way of an example, like if nothing changes, nothing changes. So the person who got in is not going to be the person on the way out. So people, places, and things, like different behaviors, they weren't attractive to me anymore. Like wanting to go to 3 raves in a week, like I just didn't have the desire to do that anymore. And like the situation's just evolved. Like now that I'm getting my shit together, I have time for a relationship. I didn't have a relationship for 2.5 years. I was celibate for 2.5 years, not by choice, just by sheer low self-esteem. I have business. I have fucking companies to run and opportunities to pursue. So like my time is being managed and put elsewhere, hopefully positively, right? So I'm evolving along that way. So that would be like a huge thing that I would point out is like, look, by all means, get into the things that you enjoy doing. If they are sort of, I don't know, fringe or gray area, that's not. If there are situations that may have temptation involved and you enjoy that stuff, like let's manage it for success. But it can't be your everything, right? Yeah. You can't just be like, oh, I'm just going to not do dope, but still go to every show possible and think that you're going to have a recipe for success. Yeah. Like it could still manifest in negative ways if you're just all in minus the dope, right? You're neglecting your self-care, your family, your career, your fucking sleep, you know, hygiene, whatever, you know what I mean? But by all means, right? Enjoy your life. Set goals and pursue them, and if they're fucking tricky or there's some stuff that needs to be navigated collectively, fucking speak up. Yeah, you know,
it's who you surround yourself with too. It really is. When you get sober, it's who you surround yourself with. Like I don't want to do a lot of these things anymore. I don't want to go hang out at clubs. I don't want to do any of that anymore.
I haven't been to a nightclub.
You know what I mean? And my whole intention when I went there was to get drunk and meet women and do that. So now that I'm married, that obviously takes away one of the intentions. And just getting drunk, I don't want to do that anymore. Yeah. And part of that's just growing up. And like you said, I have responsibilities. My responsibilities, I have to take care of those first.
Absolutely.
And yeah, it seems probably a little more boring, but it's so many advantages to just...
Well, your energy and your resources, essentially time, money, all that, right, are being put into areas that are going to have a positive effect on your life. Like putting in time with the wife is going to have a positive effect on my relationship. Putting in time with my son is going to have a greater outcome in our relationship as he grows up. Putting time into my work, into my career, hopefully I'm going to have monetary gain and more success or more opportunity as a result. As opposed to going to a nightclub, spending $3,000 on a table so I can spray champagne on girls and not drink a drop. I don't even drink the shit because I'm sober. I'm fucking spraying champagne on people and like dumping it on people's heads. Like, bro, that is a terrible use of money. And like now that money goes into my business. And
Yeah.
it goes into payroll and it goes into fucking taxes and fucking light bills and, you know, maintenance for my fish tank. You know, that's a privilege. I get to have a nice, amazing saltwater aquarium that I fucking love, and I want to build another one. And
You could have a studio in your house.
yeah, and I got a studio. I mean, you guys could see green screens, but there's a whole bunch of shit going on in here. That would have been possible if I was just dumping alcohol on people at a club. But I think sometimes it is nice to feed the beast, and to like tap into, like, really at the core, like that's what I enjoy doing that, right? And to just be like, no, that didn't happen. Fuck that guy. Like, I liked that guy at that time. We might be a little seeing different. We might not be seeing eye to eye right now, but like sometimes it's nice to feed the beast and get out there and fucking shake it up, and, you know, maybe go half on a table. I haven't done it in fucking years.
Yeah.
But like, if my buddy came to me and was like, hey, I'm gonna be in town, like, let's take the cars out and fucking go watch the UFC fight and go hit whatever after. Like, yeah, you know, a couple times a year, fuck, you know, why not? I've never been to Coachella. I probably want to do that.
See, I want to
say
do
that I've done it.
Stagecoach.
You know,
That
I've
I
never
would do.
done it, and you know, I'm open to it.
You don't like country, do you?
I don't like country.
So no Stagecoach for you.
You know, there is some classic country like Hank Williams Jr., even Hank Williams. There's some good country out there, but if you're gonna be like, hey Ryan, what are you listening to on the radio right now? It's definitely not country. Shout out to Old Town Road, Little Nas X, and I think it's Billy Ray Cyrus. They did a collaboration. It's like a country hip hop mashup that's like gone super viral right now. I don't know if you heard Old Town Road, but it's like this huge thing that's going on. So shout out to Jay, man. Best wishes to you on your trip. Obviously we're all here. If you need any feedback or any support, if it gets sketchy, good, you know, sharpen up your tool belt, apply some tools, apply some principles, and fucking get home safe. Like, it's part of it, you know. It's knowing that you can put yourself sort of in the trenches, so to speak, and come out, you know, well, and ideally still sober and all those things. Like, those are important questions to answer. And what better than to do it with a support system?
Yeah.
You know, and being honest about your intentions and like, yo, this is happening, and like upfront about what's going on with your family and all that. So I think he's going to do fine. But we're here. Bill's here. I'm here. And let's see. So we got into the lifestyle stuff. We got into the Game of Thrones stuff. Do we want to touch on all this abortion shit? Do we want to get into all that? Or should we save that for next week?
I love it. I love any political stuff. I
Bill
could
loves
talk
the
about
political stuff.
it all day. That's my new thing.
So we're gonna figure out a way on the Lost in the Sauce show to present political discussions, because they're current events. They are important for us to start a dialogue. Even if I'm not gonna necessarily pick a side, I do enjoy presenting arguments of both sides.
I'll pick the side.
Yeah, Bill will pick a side, but yeah, it's pretty wild. I think the political arena has been extremely heightened since Trump was elected, for better or for worse. I mean, I'm trying to like put it in perspective, like when Bush and the 9/11 conspiracy, and then Obama, and then Trump. Like, I feel like it's always crazy. Like, I don't know if this is an exception. Like, is this more so because of Trump? Because Obama got a lot of shit, Bush got a lot of shit, Clinton got a lot. I mean, everyone was getting fucking hammered. Yeah. You know, so it feels crazier.
It is because the news coverage. That's really the crazier part. Not that it's crazy. Right now it's so biased. That's the crazy thing. And I try to really even though I am leaning one side 100%, but I try to listen to both sides. And when I just watch the news, it's negative. Never say one positive thing. Whether you like Trump or not, he's done positive things. No matter, nobody can deny that. And you never hear about that.
Well, I mean, at the very best, you're going to upset roughly 49% of the population.
Yeah.
With every decision.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. So, like, I mean, ideally 51 still have your back. But 49 are going to fucking despise everything you have to say.
And the difference now is if you support Trump, you're automatically a racist, bigot, xenophobe. That's just a fact.
Yeah.
that if you support this guy, that's what you are. It doesn't matter what you really believe, not what you really are.
It was the same thing. I mean, it might be more extreme now, but if you were against Obama, you were also racist,
Oh, yeah.
bigot,
100%.
all that stuff.
100%.
Maybe not homophobic. Just left.
If you're a Republican, you're
Yeah.
in bad shape right now,
Yeah.
or as far as the media.
I care about the right to bear arms. I'll say that. I that's my big thing. I don't need to go into a bunch of my belief systems. I'm more of like a fucking crazy wackadoo conspiracy. Like I feel like
Yeah.
there's like levels above the president that control all this stuff, and that like this is a whole fucking scam. I mean, we've been rigging elections in foreign countries for many, many years. Why wouldn't we be rigging them here? That just makes more sense to me. So I think it's all bullshit. But at the end of the day, like, don't take my guns. That's really
Yeah.
important to me. The rest of the issues I'll sort of leave up in the ether. But I think that's important.
Yeah.
As American citizen, like, am I going to go hunt and kill people? Can I pass a background check? Like, no, I'm not going to be a harm to someone else. But would I like to protect myself? I mean, for those of you who are out there, man, you've never walked to the gas station of Hollywood on freaking Sunset and Bronson across from the Tommy's Burgers at 2 a.m. to get a pack of cigarettes. It's fucking scary out there.
Yeah.
It is super weird. Like every fucking time I do it, I'm like, why don't I have a gun on me right now? Why is it such an issue for me to be able to protect myself in the situation? And I'm not like a huge target.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I look like I don't look like a fucking badass or anything, but like I'm not like, 4 foot nothing, 60-pound female who's like super hot, who hops out of like a Bentley with a $10,000 necklace on. I'm not like a fucking blaming target on my back, but I still feel unsafe. I fucking feel unsafe at movie theaters.
Yeah.
Bro, there was a riot in a movie theater that I was in once, and I was just like, I had this knee-jerk reaction, like, where's my, and I'm like, you never know, right? Like, when the fuck it's gonna go down, and that type of shit scares me. I'm also like a fucking prepper. Like, I haven't prepped in a while, but like, I like, you know me.
I just got 3 months worth of food.
I got exactly. Like, I'm that guy. I'm like, can I save up to build a bunker? Like, I want to be that guy. But yeah, that one's important to me. We'll get into the abortion stuff next week. But man, it's been good. It's good to be back. It's good to have you as more of a main staple in the show. Behind the scenes Bill is in front of the camera Bill now, which I love. He's coming up on that year sober. But thank you guys for sticking with us. I know it's been a long month. We missed being on air, and we're glad to be back. Trying to work out some new things with our software and our branding and where we want the show to go eventually. But we're still here. We're still lost in the sauce, man. And big shout out to everybody who tuned in. We got J-Bone, we got No Cap, we got Anthony, and for anyone else who I missed who tuned in, thank you guys for all the support. If you want to go ahead and like and follow the page, that would be amazing. If you guys have questions or ideas about anything we discussed or have discussed in the past, you got ideas for topics in the future or different segments, feel free to submit that. You can do that anonymously as well on all the different avenues. There is a Killshot CA page, which is my sort of host little character I've created on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, and the Lost in the Sauce show is also on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can submit any of that stuff anonymously if you'd like. Bill Brown, any
if you want
plugs before we go out?
If you want 10% off, just come to NoHo Pond.
Yeah, NoHo Pond. What's the website?
It's House of Pond in North Hollywood, nohopond.com.
nohopond.com for 10% off if you mention the Lost in the Sauce show.
And if you're lost in the sauce and need some cash, just come on in too. I'll hook you up.
If you're lost in the sauce and need 10%, we got you. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. We love all the support. We got giveaways at 100 followers, giveaways at a huge giveaway at 1,000. But thank you guys. We love you, man. It's good to be back, and we will catch you next week. We are
out.